this is essentially how the chicken will look. So like from first view, this kind of looks like fried chicken. Now, is it fried chicken? Not necessarily, but it looks like it, and it has that crispy skin, right, that you get with fried chicken. So is this a little bit healthier than fried chicken? Maybe a little bit. But you can see that it has just a beautifully crusty skin, and that's going to be crunchy when you cut it up, and it really is excellent and delicious. So what I would do as far as like putting this in a meal, so I got some greens going, I got some potatoes going, and what's going to happen is I'm just going to slice that chicken. I can put a fried egg on top, but let's just start real quick here. So I'll start with some sweet potatoes down on the bottom.
And did you chop those up into squares? Is that what I see there?
Yeah, I diced those sweet potatoes up. Yep. And then I roasted them up at like 400 for about 20 to 25 minutes until they're fork tender.
Okay.
Drizzle them with olive oil. And I was also, Troy, I know this is a little inside thing, but Dr. Cabral talked about using parchment paper to line my aluminum. I'm glad that I'd done this, but I didn't do it I didn't ever know about the metal toxicity piece.
Yeah.
I did it for cleanup. So.
Yeah. And for our audience, he talked at length about aluminum and how a lot of the stuff that we cook with in the kitchen and a lot of the products we use in our home have traces of aluminum, and high traces of aluminum can lead to various different risks with your health, especially if it's accumulated over time. So fascinating, Nick, because it actually shields that aluminum.
Yes, and it helps with cleanup. So you make your partner or yourself happy by not having to scrub away on a pan that's got a bunch of dried, burnt, crispy potatoes on. So what I'm doing here, so I have a bed of just regular old like chef fingerling potatoes, sweet potatoes. I like to mix them up for myself. Yeah. I like the texture, not much of a texture difference, but I like the flavor difference of the sweet and the salty. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bed of arugula with a little bit of like a cilantro lime vinaigrette. That habanero honey would be an awesome addition to that vinaigrette.
I'll send you some when it comes in, when it's time. I'll definitely send you a jar.
Chris, are you going to do some ghost honey?
Well, we can try it. See how that goes.
So I think you might have a big hit on your hand if you do that, Chris. Maybe we should do a spice games, Chris.
To do that, yeah, for sure.
Just bring everybody who thinks that they have the highest spice tolerance in the whole world and like bring them all in one spot and then just crush them.
Yes.
All right. So with when this is so let's just walk this through. So after 15 minutes of the chicken frying on the skin, I'm going to flip it over for about 3 to 5 minutes. Then I'm going to transfer it over to a paper towel lined plate or something, and I'm going to let it rest for about 5 minutes. And then when I'm ready to serve, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut some strips here.
Yeah.
And then all I'll do from here is then lay that on the top. And if I had some of that awesome habanero honey, like that would be a fantastic finish, maybe even with some of the finishing salt of Chris's product. But we're also would be searing the chicken with that either the cayenne, the habanero, or there was one cayenne, habanero, and what was the other one, Chris?
Jalapeno and serrano.
Jalapeno. So that would also cook that fat and that spice will cook into the chicken breast, or I'm sorry, the chicken thighs really, really well. So when you combine fat and heat, you've got yourself a party. But anyway,
What was the reasoning for using chicken thighs?
well, for me, Chris, you could do this with chicken breast as well. I personally like the flavor of chicken thighs more than chicken breasts.
Okay, personal preference.
Not just it's a little bit more forgiving. Yes, you can do this with chicken breast for sure. That would not be a problem. But I personally like the flavor of chicken thighs a little bit more. But
okay,
easily done with chicken thighs too, or chicken breast. It's just a little bit more delicate when you have to pull those off as soon as they're about at 161, 162, so not to overcook, the entire breast.
okay.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, the bones. I mean, if you're a big soup family, we eat soup all the time, especially in the winter months. Those bones are awesome for creating the broth for many different types of soup too.
So yes, well, there you have the Wild Major Farms Hot Tennessee Chicken Bowl. We'll call it that for right now. But yeah, I'm very happy with this result, and I cannot wait to try this with Major Farms salt spice mixture and some of that habanero honey. I think this would bring this dish to a whole nother level, 100%. So